Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show live stream and podcast. It's a somewhat sobering, somber morning here in Portugal as the wildfire state of alert continues. And I'll just give you a little bit of a summary, if I may. This is a reporting from Jorge Branco's email newsletter, Portuguese news in English for estrangeiros. This started in 2020, I believe. And George continues the good work with a weekly update. And he's on top of the situation in a succinct and clear way as ever. Deadly fires cut highways, destroy homes in Aveiro district. And I should add, not only in the Aveiro district, but that's where the worst of it has been seen in the last 24 hours. So this is his writing and reporting. A state of alert has been extended until Thursday as deadly fires rage in central and northern Portugal, Publico reports. By 8 p.m. on Monday yesterday, civil protection authorities were counting 3 people dead from the fires, 2 firefighters, 1 fighting the flames and the other from a sudden illness, and 1 civilian who entered cardiac arrest. Another 21 people had been injured, including 2 seriously injured firefighters. More than 5,000 officers had been sent to dozens of incidents, the most severe of which were around the Albugaria, Avelia, Oliveira de Armazeixe, and Severo de Vuga in the Aveiro district. It was still too early for any sort of large-scale assessment, but at least a dozen homes had already been destroyed. Some schools were closed as businesses in Aveiro's industrial area and a traveller community nearby were evacuated. Standing alongside President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, Prime Minister Luís Montenegro offered solidarity to the victims as he extended the state of alert until 11:59 on Thursday. So the state of alert continuing till just before midnight on Thursday. That's where we're at the moment, and we'll do our best to keep you updated. If you have a look, and I believe you should, at the fogos.pt app or website, this is the way to stay informed of what's going on, and we'll do that now. We're taking a look. You'll see that we had a live stream last night where we were hoping to offer some sort of insight and help for anyone who's anxious or worried about the situation, how to prepare, what to do, with a little bit of help with a lot of help actually from Mike Barton, ex-firefighter and paramedic from Chicago, now living in central Portugal in Miranda de Corvo. He was very helpful last night as we looked at the map, and you can see the picture is no less grave and serious and concerning as the state of alert continues until Thursday. And you can see the big fire that we were just talking about there. If I click on it, for example, Albugaria de Avelia still has 460 firefighters, 144 vehicles, and 1 aircraft there. Other aircraft are coming from other parts of Europe, I believe, to help with the situation. But that's just one, as you can see on the screen there, of the many blazes in progress at the moment, mainly in the northwest of Portugal at the moment. So you can see some have resolved, which is good news, but some, and I think Mike has given me further insight this morning. He's saying in his part of the world the wind has changed direction. This is in Miranda de Corvo. Let me just find this will be a familiar picture. Even here in San Martino de Porto, looking into the distance, the sky is dirty with smoke and wildfire debris. And that'll be a similar picture all over certainly in central and northern Portugal, of course. And Michael says this morning, wind has shifted and cleared the smoke from our area. Unfortunately, the winds have picked up in speed, which is bad for the fires. So presumably this is why the state of alert continues, because of the background weather conditions and forecast. Now you can see more about that at IPMA, and they have a particular page, and I'll put the link for that as well in the chat. They have a particular page over at IPMA, which shows you the cameras, the districts that are in a state of alert or maximum alert. And I'll bring that onto the screen for you in just a moment. This is some of the help that's coming from Spain, for example. So it's good to see that our neighbours are helping out as well. If you look at Europe, Portugal has it particularly bad at the moment on that northwestern area, where the concentration of the wildfires seems to be. So let me just bring to you IPMA and put the link to it into the chat. This is the overview, the climatic overview. That's gone into the chat now of what's going on. And if I pop it onto the screen now, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about with the weather climate situation that's not helping at all with the situation. I think you can see that on the screen now. Yeah, the purple areas mainly cover, from central and northern Portugal upwards to the north. They are maximum alert in purple there. And even the orange that you can see in the Alentejo going down to the Algarve, where they're also on maximum alert in the Algarve, of course, where we often see many fires here in Portugal. Even that orange area in the middle is elevated. That's an elevated state of alert. So most of Portugal, if not all, a couple of areas have been spared there with a moderate and a reduced alert, maybe 4 areas in the whole country. The rest are anything from elevated through much elevated through to maximum alert here in Portugal. So the link for that is there if you need to see it, and you can click on that. It's an excellent resource, and you can see actually that we are having a situation where things are easing as we go towards the end of the week. But currently, be very aware and alert of what's going on with this wildfire situation. Let's come to some of your comments this morning, because it's very important that we stay connected, I think, and can help anybody if necessary. Make sure you're safe yourself, of course, in the first instance, and then let's see as a community how we can help other people. And offers came through last night. Sarah in Leiria. We have friends over near Frejanda, near Tamar, to the I can't remember actually. It's just about half an hour outside. I'm not sure of the compass direction out of Tamar, but not far from Tamar. There's a house that's been offered if people are homeless and are in need of somewhere to stay. Offers are coming in here in the Good Morning Portugal community, and also direction on how to support the Bombeiros as well, which is a very important thing to be doing at the moment. James was in early on this morning at 7:48, having had a lovely time. We spoke to James in Amarant yesterday morning. He was having a fine time there. Deagle also in 21 degrees over in Belfast, and he's been watching the tragic fires in Portugal. Sadly, 2 people died yesterday, coming so recently after the helicopter crash with those GNR officers. It's truly a tragic year for big fires here in Portugal. It's not over yet. Let's stay vigilant and see how we can help and assist others. Bom dia a todos e feliz terça. Thoughts with all those affected by the fires, especially the brave Bombeiros. Puts everything else into perspective, absolutely. And we'll come back to your God Squad tip of the day. Thank you for that, Coach, as well. Much appreciated. New name on the screen, Blues in Portugal. Quite shocked over the ongoing fire, says Blues in Portugal. After a fairly calm summer on the fire front, for there to be an explosion in the patch of cooler weather is extraordinary. Absolutely right. Well said there, Blues in Portugal. It's pretty shocking, isn't it, to see that? Mike and Karen here this morning. Thanks again, Mike, for your help last night. Antonio F., good morning to you. Antonio F., I'm sure, will be very helpful to us. Native Portuguese, of course. Our Portuguese friends are a great help to us. To let us know, the right thing to do and how we can help locally, especially with the Bombeiros. I think that the main suggestion with the Bombeiros is obviously to stay away from the front line, but take supplies, take water, energy bars, toiletries, things they might need. And when you're there, I guess with your first delivery, they'll tell you what else they are in particular need of. So let's see what we can do to support the local Bombeiros in that way. Jackie also in, thinking of you all in Portugal right now. God bless you all. Thank you, Jackie, very much indeed. Owen, thank you, Owen, for your photographs yesterday. If you have anything to send us, it's 913-590-303. I think it's pointless showing endless video, a shocking video. You can see those all over X and social media at the moment. I think the point's been made, hasn't it? It's been horrific, hellish for some people, and there have been truly awful scenes on the motorways in particular, and in the Aveiro district. I won't keep showing horrific pictures. I don't see the need for that. But suffice to say, it is a very, very difficult situation and a horrific one at that. Morning all, currently clearing fire ash from around the house. So when I say send in photos and pictures, by all means, send pictures of your locality, indicating, how the air quality is changing, anything that you can do that will help. And I think at the moment, give hope and support to people at the moment. That would be great. Morning all, currently clearing fire ash from around the house. And, having to do that's a shocker. Thank you, Owen, for this update. Fires some kilometers away. The smell still strong in the air. Sad memories of 2017 when, of course, Owen was evacuated from his home, as I recall, in 2017 and saw some pretty horrific situations in his own neighborhood, in his own community back then in 2017, and some horrible. I'm sure all of Portugal was hoping you never see anything like that again, and memories of that are very present in the mind of the Portuguese at the moment. Bom dia todos from the Global Nobles. Wow, smoky air everywhere here in Vila Nova de Gaia. Very windy and smoky skies. Trusting all will be okay out there. Yeah, praying, fingers crossed. Whatever it is you do, we're doing that right now. Top temperatures today should be 35 degrees in Santarém. You see, it remains hot. I'm not sure about the humidity level, but the conditions don't look very favorable for firefighting. Sadly, it would appear. Lisbon and Alentejo should reach 34, so it still remains hot here in autumnal Portugal, or just about pre-autumnal Portugal. Bom dia, Alegria Gumpas from T-Duck. Good morning to you. Thanks for your help last night. It was a great team effort. People helping each other on the screen last night. Pam with a bon dia as well. Good morning to you, Pam. I think we've been pretty safe on the Silver Coast so far. So those of us who are lucky to have escaped a lot of the worst shock and horror, I guess we can turn our attention to helping others now. Reminders for me of the 2017 fire, says Owen. Just finished clearing fire ash from around the garden and the house. The fires are some kilometers away and the air smells of smoke. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks for that message, Owen. 3 days of rain coming up in my sky forecast. Well, that'll be blessed rain, would it not? Hoping that happens is enough and will help extinguish the fires. Yes. Blues in Portugal continuing with this comment. The fire planes are airborne. Just had 3 pass over us at Satão, Viseu. As a retired UK firefighter living here, I tip my hat to the Bombeiros. It's arduous work, isn't it? And on so many fronts as well. You may have heard the sound there of Jason Hall joining us. It was my great pleasure to meet in person, Jason, after having spoken on the screen for 2 or 3 years, I think. Jazz and I met in person. It was a great evening. It was a truly great evening. And Jazz getting ready to talk to us. It's Quinta Crew Tuesday, but of course we can't avoid or don't want to avoid talking about the fire situation and updating and helping each other across the country this morning. So we'll go to Jazz, who had a fire just 4 kilometers away from his home last night. And as a Quinta owner, as a farmer, he'll be keeping an eye on what's going on as well. Lee might join us, but we need to give support to those with a lot of land as well, don't we? And anyone who has just come to Portugal and inherited a big garden or land, and you don't know what to do, we'll do our best to give you some guidance and help as well this morning. So Jazz joining us in just a moment after we've covered the comments here. Bon dia, Owen, says Antonio. People should take preventive measures like cleaning their grounds. That's the sort of thing I'm talking about. If you own a quinta or a lot of land, you're legally obliged to clean and clear it so it's not a fire risk. The president of a Junta de Freguesia and 2 of his employees are now official suspects of a forest fire because of the improper way they tried to clean the field. They started a fire by accident. That is a horrible situation, isn't it? For all concerned there. Bon dia from Carl. Hi, good morning to you, Carl, this morning. Barak in Travanca. Travanca is still here. Well done, Lord and Lady Travanca. Thanks for that update. Spain and trusting all is well with your horses as well. Spain and France sent a total of 4 big fire planes to help fight the fires here. Thank you, Antonio. And Pam, had a great time on my holiday in Tabua. And good timing, Pam. Glad to be home now. The fires have started. Carl Hyde, the fire in Amora last week certainly brought it home to me. Very close to you and to Bobby O'Reilly, of course, over there in Sejal. Way too close for comfort. We must all do our bit to prevent. Praying for rain at the moment. Back in 2005, says Pam, when we were house hunting, it was a bad year for fires. It made us very wary of living in too isolated a place or too near forest. We had to drive through heavy smoke that year. It's very scary. Good morning, Portugal, from Tuned but Unstable this morning. Good morning to you. Good to see you, TBU. Right, let's go over to Jazz, who's over there on his land, striding around the Quinta Essencial. Good to see you, Jazz. I think we need you unmuted as well. Give that. Morning, mate.
Good morning, mate. Sorry about that. Just got
no worries. Not a problem. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Can you give me 30 seconds? I've just got to drive the tractor down. And,
is that the sound we can hear in the background? Is that your tractor clanking away? There it is. There's the Ferrari. How about that? Oh, Lamborghini.
I'm just going to head down to the field. I've got some new residents I'd like to show you.
You give me a shout when you get there, mate. Okay, thanks a lot. Ciao, ciao. There he goes. He'll be back in just a minute. He's got some lovely new guests on the Quinta Essencial there. And I am still enjoying some of the wonderful produce he gifted me when he was up here in San Martino. I think he liked it up here as well, or over here. And gave me some lovely, lovely produce. The sauerkraut, the chutney, the apple cider vinegar. It was some other vinegar. I think it might have been peach. Absolutely delicious on our grub here in San Martino de Porto. So thanks, Jazz and Oriel, for that. Last big fire here, says Tune but Unstable. People lost everything and then did a GoFundMe to rebuild their off-grid homes. I recently visited these rebuilt places and was waist deep in dry grass. Nobody learned from it. I'm sorry to hear that. Tuned but unstable. We do have short memories, don't we? It would appear. We do, we get shocked and we say we're going to do something. It's human nature, I guess, and then sometimes find ourselves back in a similar situation. Right, so fogosh.pt, definitely keep an eye on that. There's ipma.pt as well. Matty, I think, is busy at the moment, but all is well with him. He sent me pictures yesterday of aircraft going over his place, and we've got video of that as well. So it's a bit of a report from Matty there, who I don't think can join us in person, but that's what's happening there at Quinta Essencial. Here's some video footage. So, if you are new to, let me just take that one off the screen as well. That's the aircraft in the sky there, and the video you just heard as well. These are what you might see. If you're new to Portugal and you hear helicopters and planes and you see a big ball, a bag of water under the aircraft, they are scooping water out of nearby reservoirs, maybe rivers as well. And if you've got a big enough swimming pool, they might even borrow some of that. To douse and get to the flames and the blazes where the firefighters can't get to on the ground, and strategic air support. So you might see that, which if you see it for the first time is quite the shock. Jazz, are you ready for us now? We're down the other end, I think, of his. I think we're having a little tractor ride here, aren't we? This is fantastic. Loving the sound of the tractor. Here we go. We've got a tractor ride, everybody, at Quinta Essencial with Farmer Jazz. Hey! Wonderful. Nice bit of light relief on this morning here in Portugal. There we go. Oh, fantastic. This is like having your own tractor, everybody. Maybe we should have some more of these videos, Jazz, of you riding around the estate on a tractor. We can all pretend to be farmers like you, but without having to do all the hard work. Oh, who's this?
These are the new guys.
Right, are these friends of yours then, Jazz? Are they living with you?
Yeah, they came to the Quinta yesterday.
What?
Via some really lovely people, and so they're rescue donkeys. Let me introduce you because they are lovely. Come on, Paddy. Come on, Paddy.
We've got Paddy.
This is Paddy.
Yep, nice.
He's 10. Thank you very much for noticing.
I wasn't going to miss that opportunity.
I know. It's like, yeah, he's 10, and this is Bella.
Oh, Bella and Paddy.
She's 9.
Yeah.
And we obviously, because we do what we do, we get to meet lots of very interesting people. And so this couple, Sarah and Al, they're kind of backwards and forwards between the UK and Portugal.
Yeah.
And they rescued these guys. And so they've actually come from Ireland. And so these were UK donkeys.
What?
But because of the way that the EU works, there's, I don't want to say it's too nefarious, but when animals aren't too good and stuff, they maybe go from the UK to Northern Ireland.
All right.
And then they'll find their way into Southern Ireland.
Yeah.
And so these guys were bought at an animal auction. And because they were in Southern Ireland, their next destination was going to be a meat factory in Italy. And they'd have possibly been turned into dog food.
Oh, no.
And so, being the wonderful people that they are, Sarah and Al bought them, gave them loads of love and attention, and then they've brought them out here. I can't remember how many animals they have exactly, maybe like 3 or 4 horses and maybe 7 or 8 donkeys.
Bless them.
And so, obviously, we've got some quite nice pasture.
Yes. So they're helping you as well. You're helping them and they're helping you a little bit as well. And I imagine they're fertilizing the ground as well, aren't they? Bit of regenerative going on.
Oh, it's just an amazing symbiotic relationship, if I'm honest.
You sound truly delighted, Jazz.
I had one of the best days I've ever had on the Quinta yesterday.
With your donkeys?
At one point, we were leading the donkeys down here, making the electric fence. The whole family was on the tractor. The dog was following behind us. I was so happy I could have cried at one point.
It's like an illustrated Bible scene, Jazz, there. Right, we've got a little point of order. Here isn't smoking outside forbidden. Now, I think Jazz knows what he's doing on his own land there, to be fair. And he's proceeding with caution, right?
I mean, the world is becoming quite a draconian place, and I understand you can't smoke inside.
Yeah. Or outside now.
I mean, I am a smoker, but one of the things, I've lived here for 4 years.
Yep.
You won't find a single cigarette butt anywhere on my land.
There you go. So he knows how to smoke responsibly, tuned but unstable.
But I'm one of those embarrassed people whenever I go into a shop and I need to find 15 cents in my pocket. I empty my pockets and most of it is cigarette butts.
Right. We keep the change. That's the shop owner saying that to you rather than the other way around. Wow. Okay. It was great to see you, Jazz. We'll talk more about the donkeys because they are very special creatures, aren't they? But it was lovely to see you. Thank you for making a trip to San Martino de Porto. Did you have a nice time over on the Silver Coast?
Oh, we had a wonderful time. I was blown away by how beautiful it was. It kind of reminded me of like what I imagined a booming seaside town in the UK in the 1930s or 1950s, maybe the 50s would have been like.
That's why I like it. That's why I wander around in my woolen bathing costume here.
You know those places where they send you to go and restore your constitution.
You may see me sat on the beach with a blanket over my knees in the winter. Yes, that's right. Some fresh air therapy on the seafront. There it is. It's perfect. It's ideal for that. Walk down there in your dressing gown and get yourself some fresh air. Yeah, so thank you for visiting and thank you for bringing the bounty of Quinta Essencial as well. The other day, I said to Mrs. M, would you like a honeygger, which of course is honey and apple cider vinegar mixed together?
Yeah.
Don't put boiling water on the honey, she said. Quite right too. You're going to destroy the goodness of it and the vinegar. So lukewarm, a little bit warmer than lukewarm water. Get that ACV there, made by Quinta Essencial and Oreo over there, and put some of that honey in from your local honey maker. Oh, it was delicious. Jazz, thank you
Fantastic.
for all those goodies. And
You're so welcome.
Well, it remains a delightful experience to be tasting the food from your place. And did you like the hospitality of San Martino? Although we were drinking Belgian beers, if I remember rightly, not very Portuguese.
The Belgian beer was not very Portuguese, but the aguardent most certainly was.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that, which is what happens when you drink aguardent. That's the whole point.
That's kind of the point of it, yeah.
Yes, I remember now. Alcabasa aguardent. Excellent. And
Yeah.
you're coming back. You had 2 invitations from local bar owners to come back with your red wine and your olive oil. Pedro, he said, bring it, I'll buy it, not a problem. Bring it. I love that stuff. So you're coming back.
Fantastic. We're going national. It's like business dreams coming true.
Excellent, excellent. All right. So it's great to see you. Come again soon. Big up the donkeys then. So we're back to Paddy and, I've forgotten the other one's name.
Paddy and Bella.
Bella, of course, Bella. And you can see here, they are delightful creatures. They're stoic, aren't they? And what's a particular character of these two, would you say?
Oh, they're just so gentle and so loving.
Yes.
It's like we're a bit worried they might make quite a bit of noise. Donkeys are, known for making noise, but these two are really happy with each other. And obviously, I think they'd kind of come to the end of like the green stuff where they are.
Yeah.
And so they're just happy as donkeys. They just spend most of their day with their head down, eating the grass. I've just come down to check they've got water and stuff. The dog finally has something to protect and herd. And so
yes. How is she dealing with it? Because she's a youngster, isn't she? A big Australian. I was lovely to meet her as well. Is she coping well? I mean, she's nearly the same size as them, to be fair.
It's not far off. She comes up to their bellies. They had a little bit of a getting to know you session yesterday.
Lovely.
But it's nice because now the dog wants to spend more of its time down in the actual field rather than terrorizing old ladies on the road, which is
good. Good news.
Which is better. Yeah,
yes,
it is actually better.
Much better. And you can see, can't you, why donkeys have this sort of biblical significance? They are peaceful creatures, aren't they? The king who rode the donkey, of course, and not some other a beast. And they have a cross on their backs as well, donkeys, don't they?
I guess so. I'm just having a look now. Bella's got a lovely ridge which runs all the way down.
Yeah.
And a cross there, yeah. She does have a cross.
Isn't that
so
amazing?
does the donkey. Well, I never knew that, Carl. Thank you very much.
I don't know why I know that. It's just these things that come up.
Where's your cross, Paddy? Yeah,
you're never at the right pub quiz at the right time. Okay.
Well, I never. That is something that I will never know again.
Yes. Well, hold on. You never know when you might need that. Right. So welcome to Paddy and Bella at Quinta Essencial. What else is going on there? I mean, this is a great time of year, is it not? You're getting ready for the abundance, the harvest, if not already into it.
I mean, because of the shop, much of our abundance has left.
Yep.
Already, because obviously we eat quite a bit of it. And then we have a Telegram group where people can order organic stuff and stuff from the farm on a Monday. Okay. And we have it prepared for people on a Thursday to come and collect. And so I think I picked my last watermelon yesterday.
Oh wow.
Which I've got to say, it was bigger than my head, and so I was quite pleased about that. And that was a refreshing respite in yesterday's heat.
Yes.
And something to take our minds off what's going on around here at the moment. With obviously there's quite a bit of fire.
Well, I want to ask you about that. It came quite close to you yesterday. Before you move on from watermelons, you and I talked about our clubbing pasts in the UK, didn't we? When we were sat chatting like a couple of old clubbing giffers the other day. Yeah. And I remember there was one club I used to go to in London's West End. And at about 2 or 3 in the morning, I think, they would serve watermelon. And it was the most delicious thing to have after a bit of a workout on the dance floor or whatever people were getting up to in the nightclub. Fantastic times. What a great, it was quite unusual.
That sounds like responsible raving, which should be promoted at all times.
Responsible raving. Fantastic. Chance to be a fine thing. Okay. So, It came close to your to you and your home. 4 kilometers, you were saying last night, and we were glad to see that it was resolved fairly quickly. So what's going on in your area?
I mean, it's everybody knows that where we live was really has been really affected by fire in the past.
Yeah.
And thankfully, around these parts, people are very fire aware.
Yep.
And take the clearing of their land and as such very seriously. There's still a lot of eucalyptus in and around this area. And it does form quite an integral part of life around here, because I think people seem to think that it's like large plantations and, you know, big national companies that own it all.
Yeah.
But really, it's lots of people who live in the area. Everybody's got their own small patch. Yes, some of it goes for paper, but in general, it's people's firewood.
Yes. Right.
Or it's a small investment, like almost like a pension fund and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah. It's an important resource, isn't it, for people?
Yeah. But because they tend to not be so close to people's where they live, sometimes the management of those areas does, you know, become a little bit lax.
Yeah.
You know, it's very difficult if you're in your 80s to go and manage things like that. And unfortunately, sometimes things do happen. And yeah, last night it was quite close to us. But obviously, with it only being 4 or 5 kilometers away, it's quite a lot of our friends and neighbors who actually live in those areas. And so we've got a couple of Telegram groups, which are specifically for fire alerts and things like that.
Yeah.
And social media was fully utilized yesterday, just to bring awareness to, you know, all of the different groups of people, you know, our Portuguese neighbours and the immigrant population. And ironically, it's one of the things that really does seem to draw people together, because regardless of where you're from or what you've got, it's a very visceral thing.
Yeah, right. Elemental, isn't it?
And in a world where people seem overly concerned with, you know, I don't want to say conspiracy theories and things like that, but a lot of people are dissatisfied with the world, and everybody's sort of, I don't know, living with a low level of anxiety.
Yes.
When something like fire happens, all of that gets shoved way into the background.
Yep.
And immediate fears, you know, take over fairly quickly.
Yes.
And it can, as ridiculous as it seems, you know, it's a very unifying force.
Well, it is, isn't it? That's us funny old human beings. You know, the sense of danger and death makes us very alive. There's an incredible irony there, isn't it? And especially in the backdrop of the times we're talking about. And you put it very well, I think.
I think there's something about the smell of fire, whether you've experienced it on a large level or not.
Yeah.
There's something within the human mind or body or deep-seated within our genes and DNA that everybody recognizes it for what it is, you know, and it only has to be the faintest whiff. And so at the moment here, even like the tiniest puff of smoke or the slightest smell on the air, things are being actioned fairly quickly. To try and identify where that might be.
Yeah.
And so last night, in the grand scheme of things, in comparison to what's going on, I've got some friends in Aveiro and other friends in Coimbra. And so last night, I think for the fire here, it was 21 fire trucks and 81 bomberos that dealt with it. To put that into perspective, I've been chatting to a friend in Aveiro today, and there they had 1,300 firemen, 400 trucks, and 5 or 6 planes
It's
dumping
what an
water
effort.
on things.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
you could still see how they were struggling with that much manpower and machinery. It was still horrific, wasn't it?
yeah. He sent me some photos this morning of like the town centre in Aveiro, and the whole place is just covered in ash.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks like, I mean, it looks like a war scene.
Yes.
And I suppose essentially, that is what it is.
Yeah.
And so, you know, be safe, have a plan.
Yes.
It's got to the point we now have a couple of bags packed.
Yeah. Well
Nothing
done.
too nothing too serious. Just a change of underwear and a change of clothes, some sturdy shoes because we all wander around in flip flops.
Yeah.
And your ID card
Yes.
and
Yeah.
bank cards. And apart from that, don't make it too heavy. It's a bit, what they say when you're going to exit a plane, leave all your bags and get out.
Yep.
It's a bit like that. And
That's how you want to be thinking, isn't it? And yeah, all those important. And we had a good conversation about this last night about preparation. Is if you can have your phone because that's a pretty good lifeline, and some water and the things that Jason's mentioned there, as well as a torch perhaps. But you don't want to be gathering that together in a panic, do you? You want to have that ready, ideally, in times like this.
Yeah, and also be aware of your exits because quite often roads are going to be closed and you don't want to turn up somewhere and have to turn back.
Yeah.
And the only other thing that I'd say is be aware that not everybody is social media or phone savvy, and they may not have things like Telegram or Signal or Messenger. They might just have a phone. If you get the chance and people like that, they tend to be on the older end of the scale.
Yeah, right.
And so last night at 11 o'clock, even though I knew there would be a few people who are in bed, just actually physically ring them.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to mind if you wake them up when something like that is going on.
Right.
And so.
And Mike, who was with us last night, also said he was a firefighter and a paramedic in Chicago, and he was talking about if you do feel like you need to call the emergency services, that's what they're there for. Call them, because he was recalling times of public emergencies where he was working, where people were having strokes and possible heart attacks, and saying we didn't want to bother you. And it's like, that's the time to bother the emergency services when you're having an emergency. So don't feel, if you've got an emergency on your hands, 112 is the number to call. Oh, look at this. That's the perfect selfie right there. They're very photogenic and very selfie ready, I have to say, Jazz.
Oh, they're just so loving and so gentle. She just wants cuddles.
Oh, right. Okay. All right. So they are quite sort of affectionate, are they, donkeys? I didn't see them as that with their deadpan expression all the time.
I mean, I can't say as a general rule, but these guys definitely, they love human interaction.
Yeah, right.
Which seems ironic considering, at one point in their life they were not treated so well by people.
Yeah.
And so, maybe people need to take a lesson out of Paddy and Bella's ideals and
be like Paddy and Bella.
Learn how to forgive people. Life's too short.
Oh, these are the messages we need to hear at the moment, aren't they? They are. This is a bit tangential, but I've got a fondness. Anyone who knows me will know I've got a fondness for these like 70s fellas. The Oliver Reeds and the Richard Harris and the Peter.
Oh, yeah.
Hearing about their hell-raising ways and a different time. I mean, they were probably awful people to be around in real life, but there's something about them, Keith Moon, that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And they were called hellraisers, Jazz, back in their time. And I was thinking maybe, a lot of what they did was what people aspired to do, right? Which is to drink a lot and have a lot of sex. And maybe at that time of the culture, it was like that was an understandable urge. But we've done all that now, haven't we? I mean, it's all available everywhere. Tinder, off licenses, cheap booze. It's all been done. We've all been there and done that. Now's the time for a bit of heaven raising, isn't it? Not hell raising.
Well, it's like in my younger days, I'm not going to lie, it was all sex and drugs and rock and roll.
Hey,
But now it's more cakes and buns and sausage rolls, if I'm
cakes and
honest.
buns and sausage rolls. Yes.
Um, the thing is, with the exception of Keith Richards, who I'm sure the only way you'd work out how old Keith Richards is if you cut one of his legs off and counted the rings. But I suspect he may have been here, like when God was creating the earth and the heavens. It was like he probably rocked up as like, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah.
And he might outlast us all. But in general, what comes along with that hell-raising image is very public. You know, they're the people that we get to see publicly decline.
Yes.
And it tends to go as you get older that you have an admiration for them.
Yes.
But when you read about that demise and stuff like that, I always think it's very telling that, you know, everybody just accepts it for what it is and nobody's surprised. You know, they very few of them seem to give up their ways. It seems to be a lifestyle choice for life.
It does, doesn't it? Yes.
And quite often, you know, you don't hear of many of them making it into their 90s.
Well, we're seeing that in real time at the moment, aren't we? And it's a somewhat sobering situation to be observing. I think we've got a few clubbers here, full moon parties. I think I didn't make any of those, but that was a thing, wasn't it?
Oh, I've been to many. I lived on Koh Phangan for quite a while.
Did you?
Yeah, I was a dive instructor there in the
Listen to you.
early 2000s.
Wow.
And so I wasn't there for the very first full moon parties, but I was definitely an active part of that scene for a good few years, and had a lot of fun. The thing is, everybody knows that there's full moon parties, but when you're on the island, there's half moon parties, dark moon. It's like there's quite a bit going on.
Well, get the sausage rolls ready tonight and the cakes and buns, because we can have another one. 3 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday, is a full moon. There might be a lunar eclipse, and we'll be out there with our cakes and buns and sausage rolls. Probably vegan. A lot of people now, you know, just having a sausage roll substitute. So have a great 3 a.m. Tomorrow morning. When there's another full moon, and that's our idea of a full moon party at the moment.
Wow.
Another idea of a party, and we've got a couple of Welsh visitors this morning. One of them, Doug, may well upset the other who's here this morning. The sheep around here love human interaction too. He's calling you Lee, I think, rather than Jazz. Come on, pay attention, Doug. But probably the less said about that, the better. And thank you for being here. Babers News. I was going to go for Babber, as in a Plymouth Babber or Bristolian Babber. But I think it might be Babers News, who's here campaigning about an independent Wales. I think we maybe just get Baber and Doug talking to each other, and they'll keep them busy. Those two. I think.
But both of the ladies in my life are Welsh. They're both Welshes. Oriel's Welsh, and my daughter was born in Abergavenny.
Oh wow!
And so Wales is a place that does hold a very special place in my heart. I've spent quite a bit of time. I've lived over quite a bit of Wales, and so at one point, Wales was the most part of the United Kingdom.
Seriously,
if you look at old maps, if you find really old maps, then it was only really sort of the east coast and a little bit up north and a tiny bit down south that wasn't classified as Wales. It was only once we started getting visitors from Scandinavia and from France and places like that, and the Saxons came and started creating kingships, that most of it wasn't called Wales. And so
nice bit of Welsh history this morning. And of course, we have the Celtic resonance all the way down, don't we, to Portugal as well. So I'm sure there's part of your ancestry, and certainly your family's ancestry, that resonates very well. And look, Jackie, of course, Abergavenny is close to Caerphilly, my old hometown. That's how does a Welshman eat cheese? Caerphilly, of course. Tuned.
How does a Welshman find sheep in long grass?
Is it safe to say this morning, Jazz? Say it anyway.
Irresistible.
You see, that's the great thing about Welsh people. They've got a great sense of humour as well. So no one's going to be upset about that, are they? As long as they've got their wellies and tennis racket with them. I lived in Llandrzebref. I don't know if I've got that right. I think it was enough spittle in that. There was a good start anyway. I lived in Llandrzebref in the pub, as many people I think do. When Wales ruled the world. I can hear that actor Michael Sheen saying things like this, can't you? Ooh, to that joke, I think as well. Oh, we've upset rugby. Rugby Colan this morning with those Welsh jokes, I think. Let's go back to the donkeys now. Let's lighten the mood, change the atmosphere with the donkeys. You can always do that, can't you?
Have you gone camera shy, Bella? Look, here you go.
Oh, look at these two, Paddy and Bella. They are having a fine time there, aren't they? And they've really, it sounds like they've really taken Quinta Essencial, which is heaven on earth, I think, to another level, basically.
Oh, it's we love having animals on the farm, and yeah, they take some work. These guys so far seem fairly easy going, low maintenance at the moment. But the people who bought them, Sarah and Al, they've also left us with a saddle and some bits.
No way.
And so I'm going to wait a little while so they get to know us and trust us.
Yeah.
But I can see a day, because my local bar, it still has the rings on the sides of the walls for tying your donkey to. And I have a sneaky feeling that if I turn up at the bar on a donkey, I possibly won't have to buy any beer that night.
You and the Bomberos will not be buying any beers.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Superb. Oh, this is Bella, is it? Who's close to you at the moment?
This is Bella. She's very
she's
loving
it, isn't she? She's loving being with you there. It's all over her face. That's fantastic. Oh,
good girl.
So wonderful. Jace, thank you very much. Yeah, you should definitely take the donkey. You are being encouraged, and we want the video, of course, here.
Yeah.
For Good Morning Portugal. Jazz, so good to see you in person just recently. Thank you for being here this morning. We've had a lovely conversation with you. You know, the ups and downs of life, all of life has been here on Quinta Essencial this morning. Beautiful times with the donkeys and sobering perspectives on what's going on down the road with the fires. Let's keep our fingers crossed, say our prayers, whatever it is we do to get through this. And we look forward to seeing you again next month, my friend.
Fantastic. Thanks, as ever. Thanks for having us on. It was wonderful to meet you. And just as a parting shot, do stay vigilant, folks. And do remember that try not to forget anybody when stuff gets a little bit gnarly.
Yes, absolutely right. Well said. Well said.
And support your Bomberos.
Yeah, for sure. And Darren's given us a super sticker this morning. Because you're on the screen, that means you share that with me. When you come back, that's the beginning of our drinks fund for next time you're over, all right?
Fantastic. Yeah, and so in a world where heroes are hard to find, you know, don't neglect the Bomberos. They selflessly look out for everybody.
Well said. Well said. Yeah. Shout out to the Bomberos. And thanks to you, Jazz. Lots of love to you and family at Quinta Essencial. Take care, mate. Ciao, ciao.
Take care. Bye now.
Ciao. Bit of Gumper dust there rather than rapturous applause. And we're into the last 10 minutes or so of the Good Morning Portugal show this morning. On a morning where we've had some horrific wildfires, mainly in the Aveiro district, it has to be said. But if you look at the picture, as we will again now, we'll refresh the picture over at fogos.pt, which I think I've said enough times now, urge you to have on your person, on your phone. Get the app. It's a brilliant app, and it will keep you informed of what's going on here in Portugal with the wildfire situation. If I zoom in a little bit, you can see the fellas we're talking about there, the guys and the girls in the Bombeiros are still struggling. These are still among the biggest fires. And you see how many there are in the northwest of Portugal, up to the mountain ranges there, Serra da Estrela, over to that spine of the country, and over on this northwestern side, the largest of the blazes. It can around here, Aveiro, and over where we were at the weekend. Actually, we were filming with Hugh in Viseu, and that Tondela fire seems to have got erupted back again with 3 aircraft on it at the moment, 300 firefighters and 81 vehicles. So stay safe over there. There was a good call earlier on. Thank you, Mike, for asking about Bairandi. Have we checked in? Yes, got in touch. This is what Jazz was talking about, wasn't it? Is staying in touch with people. And me and Mrs. M sat down. It's like, who do we know? Who do we check in on? And we sent a few messages out last night, and everybody was present and correct and okay. And Bairandi was one of them who we checked in with last night. So he's fine. He's doing okay because he is in the Aveiro district, of course. Lovely messages this morning. I think there are a few clubbers among us. Donkey fans, sheep fans, clubbers. James went to the full moon party. So that's why I got so many strange looks when I showed up to the full moon party with no trousers or pants on. Yeah, not that kind of full moon. But then again, whatever floats your boat. You don't want to be scaring those donkeys turning up with no trousers on. And lots of lovely thanks coming in to Jazz as well. A lovely scene there with the donkeys. We've got a God Squad tip of the day that we are looking at to the training program. This is the pre-Portugal tour training program. This was asked for by the OLP, Oregonians living in... what does the P stand for? It's a quiz. I know. I'm just not going to say. OLP, and we've got the OLP coming over to Portugal soon and was asking, what's the best way to train when you're coming to Portugal? And Ian was all over that already. If you're working on building up your walking before visiting Portugal, don't forget that not a lot of the country is flat. That's a nice way of saying it's hilly and mountainous. So it's worth practicing walking up and down hills. Find somewhere with a slope and walk up for a minute or so, then back down. When walking down, try to avoid landing too heavily on your feet, as it will jar all of your joints. Yes, be lighter on your feet. Perhaps practice walking on the balls of your feet rather than shocking your entire body with a heavy landing on your heels. It's not how runners run when they run well. It's all about the balls, as we often say here. It's a lot of balls here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Allow a bit of flex in your knees to help cushion the force. This is like Tai Chi, mindful walking, basically, isn't it? I mean, we take it for granted, don't we? We walk a lot, those of us who are lucky enough to do so. You've got the likes of the Portuguese. Some interesting news to share with me regarding me and the Portuguese in just a moment. But that guy's out walking 3 hours a day. I wonder if he ever gives a thought mindfully to his walking style, or if he just takes it for granted. If you think about walking, sometimes you can trip up, because we're so used to doing it unconsciously. But maybe we should. Maybe we might have a look at how we walk. And are we walking on the balls of the feet? Take a little bit of time maybe to look at how you're walking. And are you allowing a bit of flex in your knees, as the coach is suggesting here, to cushion the force? Repeat up the slope a few times and build up to 10 over a couple of weeks. Then enjoy your trip. No pun intended there, I'm sure. Thank you very much for that, Coach. We had some other comments coming in. A good way to support the Bombeiros was suggested by Pam. So I'm trying to find that as well. Oh, here we go. Pam this morning. And glad you had a nice holiday, Pam. Good timing as well in Central. Another way to support the Bombeiros is to become a socio. Ours costs, so you join their society, their local association, I guess. Ours costs $12.50 per year, and also gives you access to transportation and some discounts. But it's worthwhile, even if you don't use these. Absolutely, $12.50, nothing, is it, to support the brilliant work that they do. Pete's in as well this morning. Bon dia, Carl and Cal. Big Tony. Oh, Carl and Carl, I think there's Carl H as well. Big Tony, Pam and Deagle. The fire planes from Spain, France, Italy, Greece and Germany do show how great it is to be part of it. Oh, give over, Pete. They do that whether or not we were in the EU, I'm sure. It's European, isn't it? It's about being a human being. But nice pro-EU bit of lobbying there. Very good. Even here in Alcobaça, the air was heavy last night, and we could smell smoke. Wow. Great information, Pam. Never seen a Bombeiros in this region pay for a drink or a meal. The community are always grateful to have a chance to say thank you. Yeah, and we've got Jose, who was I think he was a commander. He often is found in the Welsh bar, often finds himself in the Welsh bar, it has to be said. Legendary firefighter Bombeiros, and a much loved part of this community as a result here. So shout out to you. Tudor bang at the Welsh bar. And Jose and Karen, of course, this morning. Bon dia todos from Joan. Good to have you here, Jean Van Groningen. Where you been? We've missed you. And bon dia, Squire. Have you sorted out your accommodation situation? Let us know on that. And yeah, Catherine was in. Hi, Jason. Love the donkeys, aren't they great? And I think Kat, you've been to Jason's fantastic shop and seen his wonderful produce over there. You're not a million miles away from him. Darren, he can't complain about the fire when he's lighting a cigarette. Well, I think he is a responsible smoker. You're also asking, Darren, and thank you for your super sticker. Hi, guys. Do air purifiers have any use against the smoke? I'm not sure. I'm sure if you're a non-smoker and there's an air purifier at work, even if someone sparks up, you can probably still smell the smoke. I think it's sort of a matter of negotiation, isn't it? With this, I'm all for people smoking if they want to. I mean, they know the risks, don't they? And I prefer it if they don't do it right next to me, especially when I'm eating or by the entrance of a cafe. But I think Jazz, as we could see, there was a responsible smoker. And it's come to a pretty pass, hasn't it? When a bloke can't smoke on his own land or in his own house, for goodness sake. Anyway, political matters such as smoking and an independent Wales. We've had Baber's news I'm going to go with, hijacking the show for political purposes as well, dedicated to the goal of an independent Cymru. And that was, yes, I think asking you if you're interested to go to Yes Cymru petition. Please go online to see the Yes Cymru petition. Now, on that note, smoking, not smoking, I know that the Portuguese has got very strong views about smoking, preferably people that don't or anywhere near him. He has a firm views about a number of matters, and interesting views, it has to be said, as well, as we discover when he joins us every month here on the Good Morning Portugal show. He and I are launching a new live stream together, and it will have its maiden voyage. Not tonight, but it will be on a Tuesday evening at 7. Tonight's 8 o'clock live stream, actually. We're going to be having a look around a new home that Stephen White from Home Property Miners, the homemakers in central Portugal and investors. That's him, home miners, and Stephen White, property miners, and Stephen White. We'll be having a look around one of his new gaffs in Castanheira de Pera. That's tonight. But next Tuesday at, I believe it's 7, we're going to be not head to head, because it's not me versus the Portuguese. It's going to be me and the Portuguese, I think, versus other memes and thought forms and ideologies. On a Tuesday night at 7, probably for an hour, taking live messages and calls and looking at a few issues. So sure, we could look at come back, Baber, to talk to us. Why don't you convince us that Cymru should be free of the United Kingdom next Tuesday? And certainly, Darren, we could talk more about smoking, yes or no, or where to smoke on that show as well. We'll be tackling all sorts of things, the sort of thing that the Portuguese picks up on his fine YouTube channel, and we'll be broadcasting on both of our channels. I'll be on GMP TV and he'll be on the Portuguese, no doubt, and we'll have some fun with that. And we also have a new website coming up for that. It's basically aimed at if you're a foreigner living in Europe, we'll be taking a look at news and ideas. And the common connection, I guess, like us here, is that we're foreigners living in Europe. We're foreigners living in Portugal mainly here, but we're going to broaden that remit to foreigners living in Europe so that we can talk to other people who find themselves as expats, immigrants, foreigners in other parts of Europe, and their take on their local news, their national news, and international news as well. So that launches next Tuesday, and that will be Expat Euro News. Didn't realize it'd be as hard to say as that. Expat Euro News, not Neuro News, because it's not brain surgery. Expat, I'll be using that. Expat Euro News every Tuesday, or certainly next Tuesday. We'll see how it goes. Maybe, hopefully, we won't be banned and prevented from doing further live streams together as we tackle some controversial issues that sometimes people are banned for on YouTube. But we want to talk about them, not because we're rebellious, but it's like, well, why can't you talk about some things? We're not going to be being nasty to people. We're not going to be bullying people. We're not going to be belittling people. We're going to be discussing ideas, for goodness sake. And some of those that sail a little bit close to the wind sometimes on YouTube. And we'll be doing it in a sensitive and hopefully intelligent way. But I'll let you be the judge of that next Tuesday from 7. Antonio F., thank you. continuing to give us fabulous service over at the Portugal Club. And we'll have a little gathering tonight at 8:30 as well. If you want to come along, you're a member of the Portugal Club. It'd be lovely to see you, Antonio, actually. The Portuguese treat is over there. The alert, of course, of the Portugal Fires for the Portugal Fires, and more about our place of interest this week, Porto Alegre, which is a fascinating place. And thank you, Manuel Ferreira, for that. Portuguese treat of the week is Azorian pineapples, of course. Be careful how you put those in your shopping trolley. And the wonderful crime report, Criminal Facts, that continues. A very popular thread, 156 listings on that side of human nature over at the Portugal Club. And Antonio's fabulous continuation of Portuguese sayings. We are into the Encanto series at the moment. Lots of sayings that begin with enquanto. Enquanto, for example, o pau vai e vem, folgam as costas. So while the stick goes back and forth, the back rests. Make of that what you will. You smutty innuendoers will make of that something, I'm sure. When the stick goes back and forth, the back stays still. It sounds like a sort of tantric sex guide, for goodness sake. Ideas are great. Yay for ideas. Oh, Louise is here as well. Good morning to you. Let's go with those last few comments then this morning. Thanks for being here. Thanks for that sticker. And that'll go to the next drinks fund that Jazz and I have, Darren. Thank you very much. He should definitely take the donkey. We're looking for that. I'm sure his daughter's going to have a fabulous time being a donkey rider. Aviva, good morning to you. We just got over awful fires in the mountains here. Of course you did. I hope we won't see any more over there. It's the continental Portugal's turn at the moment, sadly. Saw lots of people walking in the very hot sun yesterday. Didn't look fun. Funny that, isn't it? Often running joggers and walkers don't look like they're having fun, but maybe they're laughing on the inside. TBU, good to have you here this morning. I was hoping walking on your balls wouldn't happen until at least 70. Peter, you are naughty. High heels should help with that. I think TBU coming to you, your rescue there. Portuguese, honestly, is walking now with a weighted backpack. He's crazy, isn't he? He's done amazing. Watch his first video and see the huge difference. Yeah, he did. When I was talking to him yesterday, he did look rather trim and shiny, I have to say. I've legs like a bodybuilder, walking dogs 2-hour sessions every day in the mountains. Sounds fantastic, Louise. Hope you're safe and well. Fires all around me here for weeks. Car and patio covered in ash some days. How awful. Louise, you stay safe there as well. Stay in touch. Let us know you're okay. Hope those fires will be put out very soon. That's Liz in Paris. I can only imagine how terrifying it must be for people in those areas. I mean, those are hellish scenes, some of them that we've seen on social media, truly are. And if we Welsh could really set Wales free, we would dig a massive trench, set afloat until our shore. It's Portugal. Now, that's a certain kind of independence, isn't it? A new Celtic alliance right there, physically joined. Ideas are great indeed. Make ideas great again. And stay safe, everyone. Take no risks. That's really good advice at the moment. So there you go. Just finally then, as you can see on the ticker tape, stay informed. Fogos.pt. Have a plan. Stay safe and aware, please. Don't take anything for granted. Stay alert, stay aware at the moment. The Portuguese state of alert is in force until midnight on Thursday. That's how serious it is. And finally, house music all night long from back in the day with Mike. And last night, very great help to this community with his experience as a firefighter and paramedic. Thanks, Mike, for that great service to our community last night. Much appreciated. Thank you, TBU. A nice one, Carl. And don't wash your ash-covered vehicles with water. The ash water solution will eat your paint. Well, how are you supposed to get it off, James? You'd blow it off, or maybe make sure you rinse it very thoroughly, perhaps with that. The fire ash that ends up. If it's not Saharan dust, it's flipping ashes at the moment. So yeah, stay safe. Everybody, and we'll see you tonight if you're a Portugal Club member who wants to join us for the social. And if you want, it's called Lies. That's right, isn't it? My goodness. Okay, stop now. We're way past our time. Maybe see you tonight. And it's caustic. See you at 8:30, 8 o'clock with Stephen White. And we'll see you, of course, again in the morning for our Hump Day special. And we'll continue our coverage of what's going on with the fires. Yeah, stay safe, stay aware, stay alert, take care. And bye for now. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show at GMP. Hey, Gumpers.